I just want to make
Good call. All right, I'm recording now,
right.
so I'll share my
Have
screen.
your sip of tea and whiskey, hopefully.
No, not really.
Yeah, what page are you thinking of in chapter 4?
What? Hold on. What do you mean? What page?
Well, if I was going to look at the reader, Goldman, what area of the book would this next few minutes be on?
All right, I can tell you. It will be probably page 59. 59 through 73.
Great, thank you.
Sure. So we have started so far, and we started chanting pustakam, or no, purushaha. And purushaha is a pain in the ass to chant. So I have made the decision that we're going to chant Rāma. Now, the word is Rāma. There's no aha at the end of it. We memorize Rāma because if there's an aha at the end of it, then we know if we memorize it that way, then it is masculine. So when we have vana, we memorize it as vanam. We know the ma at the end tells us it's neuter. And if you have, say, kanya with a long a at the end of it, which means maiden, you know it's feminine because it has a long a there. When you look this up in a dictionary, it won't have the aha or the or the, well, it will have the long a. They'll just have the stem. But if you look up things in Goldman, you'll see that he lists everything in the nominative form. That just sort of helps you in your memorization. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chant Rāma for a little bit, and then we are going to go over, so this is one thing. There's another version of Rāma, which we'll be going over. If you look here, you'll see that I've color-coded everything. And then the next one we'll look at is everything in transliteration, and I've got some color coding for you there too. And that way we'll be learning Rāma and learning the contents of Rāma and learning the patterns of Rāma all together. And we'll do the same thing with vanam. Now, I have the image here listed from what do you call it? From the Sanskrit heritage site that I told you about before. Now, the thing that's a little confusing here is they put the sambodhanam in the second spot. That's the vocative. We're generally memorizing with it at the bottom. I just want you to see both. So I'm going to chant this not as it's written. I'm going to skip over the sambodhana and put it at the bottom. Why am I doing that? I want you to have it reinforced in your head that if you look at a verbal paradigm and you're going, all right, Rāma, and then suddenly you're like, Rāma, what, Rāmaha? That's not right. That's not the accusative. Then you look and see, oh, sambodhana. So sambodhana means vocative. The first one is pratama. So that's the first case, the subject. Dvitiya, the object case, the accusative. Tritiya is the instrumental case. And we're going to talk about the usage of each one of these cases today. Chaturthi means the fourth case. That's the dative. Notice also you're learning vocabulary. First, second, third, fourth. Panchami is the fifth case. That's the ablative, the source case. Shashti is the sixth case, and that means the genitive. Saptami is the seventh case. That means the locative. And as we're usually memorizing it, this sambodhana goes down here at the end as sort of like a theoretical last case. I have written in my own Sanskrit notebook, why are all these numbered this way? And the answer is because. Traditionally in the grammar, if you were to ask about the grammar, they would say, you'd say, you know, what is Rāma? And they would say ekavachana, pumlinga, masculine, pratama, vibhakti. Vibhakti means grammar or case. So they traditionally learn first, second, third, fourth, and those are the names of the declensions. They don't have names like accusative or genitive. They do, but they're not really used. All right, so starting off. Now, I've been working with the example, one of the examples that I played for you before at the end of last class, and definitely not the Bollywood version. So I'm using kind of a more nasal, sort of South Indian version, and I'm drawing on some of my chanting experience with South Indian Tamils. It's just the most pleasant to me. In my experience, it really resonates with me. Somehow I believe I was like a South Indian at some point. South Indians often believe that's true as well. It's also in some ways while it's the most pleasant to me, it's actually kind of annoying to other people because of the nasal and the high pitch. But you know what? Screw them. All right. So here we go. We're going to start slow and build. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman. Now here, you'll notice Raman, and also here, Ramata. There's a way that when you chant, especially in the South, they'll stop if there's not a vowel attached, and they call this a stop. So it's Raman, and you kind of get your na right in your dental. Raman. So you're getting the ah and then It's almost like there's no syllable there. Or here for Ramat, Ramata. So it's almost like ta, ta. Why? Why is that important? Because you'll remember it that way. Otherwise, you're going to pronounce Ramam and Raman, and you're not going to remember that they're different. So Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai. Hear that one? So that's Ramai, but you have the he at the sound of Ramai, Ramai. It's totally irritating, but you'll remember it. Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha. See, you hit that A really nice. Ramebhya. So aspirated, but bhya, and then ha at the end. That's your visarga, is your little ha. So it's Ramebhyaha, Ramaihi. You really get ripe with it. I like to move my head with it. And my first Sanskrit teacher told me when he would chant, his father would pull his head up and down with the accents and with like the long and the short vowels. Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramata. Notice I'm hitting the the long ahs. Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam. And then you kind of short. Nam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rameshu. And then back up to the Sambodhana. Rama, Rama, nothing. Not Ramaha, Rama, Rama, Ramaha. Now you'll notice over to the left, I have all of the endings extracted for you.
Hi, I have a question, comment.
Yes.
3/4 of the way through this, what I was hearing a T.
Ramata.
Oh, what?
That's down
Really?
here. So right here, this is the style of chanting Marta I was telling you before. Now listen carefully to this chant. This is the
But
guide.
I thought instead of T, it's actually a ya.
That's Ramat. Here's Ramaya.
Oh,
Ramaya. Ramat. Ramata.
it's not the sibilant sh. I've never heard it as a T. That's okay.
What haven't you heard as a sibilant? Or what haven't you heard?
I thought it's more the sh.
We have a sha and Rameshu. Ramesh.
No, the sh, the one with the dot underneath.
So yeah, that's here. That's Rameshu.
Oh,
The bottom.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's Rameshu.
Huh, I've never heard the T before.
Okay, what's the ablative sound? The end of it is a T or a D, depending on if the syllable after it is voiced. All right, so here we're going to go. We're going to do this for a minute. I want you to follow along as best you can. And I'm pulling this pronunciation from a specific video that is under your Declension resources that I played for you last time. Maybe when I'm done with it, we'll listen to that once together, and then we'll move on to do some analysis. All right.
Real quickly, is it the one that you prefer, you said?
It's the one I prefer by far. And then I went back and I listened to all of them. And it's not just my weird sanskaras, my latent traces. He's the one that if you memorize it in that way, you can hear the long and the short syllables. You hear the visargas. You hear the consonants. The other ones are lovely. And if you have a trained ear, you can hear them. But he's just really crisp.
I know I listened after class and thought it was really good.
Right on. It's not the most pleasant. It is to me. Rāma, 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 Rāmam, Rāma, Raman. Already. Should have put more whiskey in there. Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, sorry. Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Sambodhana, Rama, Rama, Ramaha. All right, one more time slower, and I'm going to start speeding up. I'm also going to move it to a different slide in just a second. Follow the bouncing ball. Ramaha, Rama, Ramaha, Ramam, Rama, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rameshu, Rama, Rama, Ramaha, Ramaha, Rama, Ramaha, Ramam, Rama, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramebhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu. All right, let's look at this on another slide. Now, you'll see here, I have it exactly as it appears in the book. None of that screwing around with Sambodhana being at the bottom. So, clearly as we look, these on the left, your singular, they're all unique. These will become very familiar to you. These will be your most familiar noun endings. In the center, in our dual, repeat, repeat. So, Ramao, Ramao. If you're going down, then you'd be like, Ramabhyam, 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 Ramayoho, Ramayoho. So, two repeaters, three repeaters. When you get over to Ramaha, you'll notice that repeats with the vocative. This repeats with the vocative as well. I should have put that in the same color. Ramaha, though, does not repeat. The visarga drops in the vocative. Remember that. Then Ramebhya, which is in our fourth and fifth plural, is also repeating. So here we go again. I want you to follow along as best you can. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Rama, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramehi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Rama, Ramaha, Ramaha, Rama, Ramaha, Ramam, Rama, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Ramana, or Ramana, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramao, Ramaha. Starting up again. Ramaha, Ramao, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramatha, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramebhyaha, sorry, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramaha, Rama, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramaho, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Rama, Ramaha. So we're getting a good vibe here. What I would also like to take a look at real quick, if I can find it right here. Where's my right? There we go. No, why must you be so difficult? Never mind. Ah. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's listen to our friend one more, and then we're going to try to do this all together on the speedy side. All right, here's our guy.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Good morning, my dear students. Today, I'm going to teach you Vyakarana Vibhagaha, grammar, Shabdaha, Akarantaha, Pumlingaha, Rama Shabdaha, Yek.
So what does that mean? He's saying akara, the sound, anta at the end. Punlinga means masculine. Rama is the word. Shabda means the word. So he's saying the word Rama, which is masculine and has a short at the ending.
Vachanam, Dvivachanam, Bahuvachanam, Prathama Vibhaktihi, Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha, Dvitiya Vibhaktihi, Ramam, Ramau, Raman. Here they have given Raman, but it should be Raman. Okay, then the third one, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi, Chaturthi Vibhaktihi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Panchami Vibhaktihi, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Sashti Vibhaktihi, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Saptami Vibhaktihi, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Sambodhana Prathama Vibhaktihi, He Rama, He Ramau, He Ramaha, Yevam, Krishna, Govinda, Mukunda, Ityadayaha. What does it mean by that? Like Rama Shabda, you can say Krishna Shabda, Shabda, Mukunda Shabda. How? Krishna, Krishnau, Krishnaha, Krishnam, Krishnau, Krishnan, like this. Okay? Did
Okay, very easy. So now we're going to go back to the PowerPoint and we're going to give this a shot. So here we go. We're going to do this for a good 5 minutes at least. And I want you following along and internalizing. Remember to see the patterns. Remember to see the patterns and the repetitions. And as you chant, just try to feel the long uhs and the short uhs. Feel the nasals in your mouth when you get to a or a try to get the consonants in your head. You can roll your R like he does, but I find that weird. Rāma, 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 Rāman, Rāma, Rāman, Rāmina, Rāmabhyam, Rāmaihi, Rāmaya, Rāmabhyam, Rāmebhyaha, Rāmata, Rāmabhyam, Rāmebhyaha, Rāmasya, Rāmayoho, Rāmanam, Rāme, Rāmayoho, Rāmeshu, Rāma, Rāmo, Rāmaha, Rāmaha, Rāmo, Rāmaha, Rāman, Rāmo, Rāman, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramaata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Rama, Ramaha. Let's say you just wanted to say them kind of normally, but you really want to get into it. Ramaha, Rama, Ramaha, Raman, Ramo, Raman, Ramena, Rama, and really get that na, so you know it's retroflex. Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramaihi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramao, Ramaha, Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Ramana, or Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramata, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhya, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramo, Ramaha. You'll notice that the ow is very short. It almost sounds like an O, but it kind of helps you rather than going with like a big old wow because your head's like all over the place. So that's up to you to find the way that you best feel comfortable.
And you said, sorry to interrupt, that for the long uhs, like in those third, you go yeah, like you're adding a little
extra. You try to like you'll notice that people do that too when they really want to stress it. They'll go almost, or when there's like the double ta, like uttama, you make the ta a little bit longer. So any way that you can speak it so it helps you remember how it's spelled. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha. So aha, Raman, Ramo, Ramana, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramaata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha. Well, see, lost the tune. Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramao, Ramaha, Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramo, Raman, or Raman, or Ramana. Even you could even Raman, you could even do Ramana, If that helps you remember that there's just that straight dental na right there, but really get na dental na. Ramena. And so I really bring my tongue around. Ramena na for the retroflex na. Ramena. Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramai is what you're saying. But what you want to be able to hear is the I. So to know that there's that AI after there, and then also get that aspirated hus so you know that there's a visarga there. Ramahi, Ramahi, almost say hee, Ramai, hee, Ramai, hee, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramaata. At the end of the Gayatri mantra, the last word is prachodayat. And I've always liked it when Brahmins say prachodayata. So you can do that there too. Ramaata, Ramaata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayo, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayo, Rameshu, Rama, Ramo, Ramaha. Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Raman, Ramo, Ramana, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramat, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, Ramasya, Ramayoho, Ramanam, Rame, Ramayoho, Rameshu, Rama, Ramo, Ramaha. All right, let's look a little bit closer here. So a point I wanted to make is you have to get to the point where you're not reading. Now, I'm a dyslexic. I've had these in my head at certain times. I lose them. I get them back. But I will notice that if I'm not looking at it, if I'm like, Ramaha, Rame, Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, Ramam, Ramao, Raman, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramahi, Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramayo, Ramebhyaha. And so it's there, Ramasya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha, then Ramat. Yeah. See, I get lost because I'm still trying to visualize. But once you just get it like spitting off your tongue, that's really helpful. And you notice that our guy, when he chanted, he would say, Pratama Vibhaktihi Rama Rama Ramaha. And that way he's coding in, the first case. Pratama Vibhaktihi Rama Ramaha Rama Ramaha. Dvitiya Vibhakti Ramam Ramo Ramaha Raman. So this practice is what gets it internalized. And it really helps to, practice by reading it out loud and actually reading it. But you'll get to a certain point where the rhythms are in your head. And at that point, close the computer, close the book, and try to chant it as well as you can without looking at it. That's when stuff really starts to happen because your brain starts using a lot more of itself. So you're no longer reading, you're reciting, and your memory is growing. Now, I took quite some time to draw this up. This is very similar to my little code book that I wrote when I was first learning Sanskrit. Just getting everything into colors so I could read it in color and I would write it in color. But knowing what I know now about my brain, I understand why hours and hours I could spend, and I just really struggled to memorize these. But people around me could pick it up really quick. They'd just sing it 5 times. I'm like, oh, it's memorized. Ask my pundit, hey, how do I memorize that? He's like, oh, you just sing it like this. Do that 20 times. You'll know it. And no, that doesn't work for me. I was talking to a friend of mine who's studying Sanskrit with a Ladakhi guy. And the Ladakhi guy, when they asked, how do you memorize these things? He says, oh, you just do it. It's like standing on your head. And then he jumped over and stood on his head. He's like, it's just like that. That's how you memorize things. And I realized we are from different cultures when we think about memory. When we think about memorizing. So, yeah.
About practicing it. I'm wondering if you have any guidance about if you're getting to a point because either you're tired or or whatever, the brain is full and you're noticing mistakes. you know, as you're saying it out loud, is it still, whether you're reading it or trying to do it by memory, do you still suggest staying with it, or is that a sign?
Oh yeah, no, that's a great sign. You stay with it. When you're noticing that you got errors, try to get through the whole thing, then go back, read it all the way through out loud, then go back and try to do it without reading it. Just give yourself a quick refresher and then do it again.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, that seems to be the best way for me. So remember, we're up here, and let's remember our signs. Rāmaha, Ramo, Rāmaha, Rāmam, Ramau, Raman. And then if you want, you can look down and try to remember just the endings. But when I tried to memorize just the endings alone, I'm never able to get them together. With a word attached to them, I find it a lot easier. Ramena, Ramabhyam, that repeats. Ramahi, Ramaya, okay, that's a new one. Ramabhyam, all right. Ramebhya, all right. Ramat, Ramata, Ramabhyam, Ramebhya, all right, okay, we got repeaters. So in here, you're looking to see the repetitions, see the patterns, and you will get to a certain point where you'll also find yourself visualizing the words at the same time you chant. And you'll notice that that slows down your chanting. So you kind of have to just kind of do it all and just get a lot of practice. All right, so we have another one to work on today, and that is vanam. Vanam is another short and this is in the neuter. The neuter nouns should all be memorized with that ma at the end of it. Now, I wrote up here, I have it just with a regular ma, and over here, I have it written with the visar or with an anuswara ma. Either way, you can remember, that's fine. But you remember that that is actually a ma without a sound on it. And this, depending on where it's placed in a sentence, will get turned into an anuswara. So for here, right off the bat, you're going to notice vanam, vane, vanani. Nice. Vanam, vane, vanani. Now, here's that sambodhana, that vocative, that sometimes the list in the second place. Whenever you get confused, just be sure you look over here. Pratama means first. Dvitiya means second. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanena, vanabhyam, vanahi. Vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanaata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanasya, vanayoho, vananam. Vane, vanayoho, vanishu. And then up to the sambodhana, vanaha, just like with Rāma, it was Ramaha in the subjunctive. In the vocative, it's just Rama with no ending. Same thing here with vana, forest. Vana, vane, vanani. So we start off at the first subject. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani. So I'm using a little different tune. I'll just give my own. Vanena, vanabhyam, vanahi. Vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanaata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanasya, vanayoho, vananam, vananam. That's a lot of nas. Vane, vanayoho, vaneshu. All right. So here we have it again, but I want you to be aware of similarities. You've already learned Rāma very well, or at least you're going to, because you're going to be quizzed on it soon enough. Actually, you're going to be quizzed on it Tuesday. We'll talk about that at the end of class. So, vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vana. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani. All right, so this is singular, plural, or singular, dual, plural of the pratama, and the dvitiya, vibhakti, are exactly the same. Now, with Rāma, we didn't have that. With Rāma, it's all over the place. We have Ramau is the same, but Ramaha, Ramaha, Raman, Raman, all of those are new. So the neuter is, in general, easier to learn. And then you have this other fun thing with the neuter that vanane, vanabhyam, vanahi. Oh, look, Ramena, Ramabhyam, Ramai. So let's just say I want to look at this pattern and do vana. I know it's neuter, so it'll be the same in the instrumental through the locative. So I just look here and I'd go vana, and I go vanena, vanabhyam, vanahi, ramaya, ramabhyam, ramebhyaha, vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, ramat, ramabhyam, ramebhyaha, vanat, vanaata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, ramasya, ramayoho, ramanam, vanasya, vanayoho, vananam, rame, ramayoho, rameshu, vane, vanayoho, vaneshu. And then below, there's a similar pattern. Here, vanam just drops its ending, same way as Rāma. So Rāma, Rama, Ramaha. Van, it's vanam, but it becomes vana, and then vane, vanani. There's a little bit of misspelling there, but you get the point. So let's take a second and do a little of vanam. And do remember that we are learning one of the most important sentences in the world, which is Rāma vanam gacchati. Rāma goes to the forest. Let's see, how do I want to do this one? Let me try something different. Let's just see what comes up. Vanam vane vanani, vanam vane vinani, vanena vanabhyam vanehi, vanaya vanabhyam vanebhyaha, vanata vanabhyam. Yeah, I don't like that one. Vanam vane vanam. Nah, all right, let's go with the old way. Vanam vane vanani, vanam vane vanani, vanena vanabhyam vanehi, vanaya vanabhyam vanebhyaha, vanata vanabhyam vanebhyaha, vanasya vanabhyam vananam vananam, vane vanayoho vaneshu. That's one too many vanabhyams over there. That's vanaya. Look over here. I have plenty of errors in this. I got to fix that, or that's going to drive me nuts. All right, so that is vanayoho. Come here, come here. Nayoho. Vanayoho, and a bottle of rum. All right, and then vanayoho, vanayoho, vanishu. I saw that there was another error I saw. Yeah, right there. Ani. Okay. All right. Vanam, vane, vanani, vanam, vane, vanani, vanena, vanabhyam, vanehi, vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanasya, vanayoho, vananam, vananam. I want to say vanananam for some reason.
I
Vane.
don't know if it's just me.
Pardon?
I lost your screen, but maybe it's just me.
Oh, it's probably not. Let me see. Yep.
Thank you.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
All right, cool. Yeah, let me know when that happens. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanena, vanabhyam, vanehi. Vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanat, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanasya, vanayoho, vananam. Vane, vanayoho, vaneshu. Vana, vane, vanani. Now, if you can memorize it better without a little song, go with that. I mean, you have to find your own way. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani. Vanena, vanabhyam, vanehi. Vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. The thing about the little song is it forces you to pronounce. Vanat, vanata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Vanasya, vanayoho, vananam. Vane, vanayoho, vaneshu. Vana, vane, vanani. Vanam, vane, vanani, vanam, vane, vanani, vanena, vanabhyam, vanahi, vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanat, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanasya, vanayoho, vananam, vane, vanayoho, vaneshu, vana, vane, vanani. Now, think of it this way. As we're studying this and you're memorizing, you're doing penance. You're doing austerity. Traditionally in Indic culture, when one does these types of penances, they build up tapas, the holy heat and fire of austerity. So imagine you are doing a mighty tapas here, learning these paradigms, which will, for the rest of your life, these couple paradigms, as long as you study Sanskrit, be somewhat running through your head. So here I've got them grouped in colors again. So vanam, vanam, vanam. Now, when I first memorized them, I memorized them up and down. Vanam, vanam, vanena, vanaya, vanat, vasaya, vane, vanam, vane, vane, vanabhyam, 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 vanayo, vanayo, vani, vanani, vanani, vanahe, vanabhya, vanebha, vanana, vaneshu, vanani. Like that, that's music to my ears. I'm trying to learn to go left and right. So vanam, vane, vanani, vanam, vane, vanani. Good. And I'm remembering those are the same down there. Vanena, new. Vanabhyam, coming up again. Vanaihi, gotcha. Vanaya, new. Vanabhyam, again. Vanebhya, here we go. Vanebhyaha. Vanat, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha. Lots of repeats. Vanasya, vanayoho, you're new, but you're coming back. Vananam, vane, vanayoho, vanishu, vanayoho again. And then vanam, vane, vanani. So the goal is to see the patterns. The one problem I think with going up and down is you see the patterns really clearly, right? You're like, vane, vane, vanabhyam, 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 vanayoho, vanayoho, vane. But then you're like, wait a minute, what does vanabhyam connect to? You don't remember that vanabhyam is with vanena and also with vanahihi. And if you remember those in a sequence, then you'll have a better sense and you won't have to like visualize it in your head as you're reading. Sometimes it helps others to just really look at the finals. Vanam, vane, vanani, vanam, vane, vanani. The colors help. Vanena, vanabhyam, vanahi, vanaya, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanata, vanabhyam, vanebhyaha, vanasya, vanayoho, vananam, vane, vanayoho, vaneshu, vana, vane, vanane. Okay, so I want to look now at how these cases and functions work. And be prepared. Your quiz for Tuesday will be to write out Rāma. And also, assuming that this digital upload thing works with you chanting, I want you to do that again. So that's your big homework over the weekend, other than just studying chapter 4. I'll go over that again at the end of class. Okay, so we need to learn a little grammar. And learning a little grammar requires learning a little English as well. And if you haven't yet, I highly recommend you read Maurer's Rattling the Dry Bones of Grammar, which really sets it all out very nicely. Okay, in English and its Sanskrit correlates. So pratama vibhakti. Pratama means first. Vibhakti just means case, the declension. Pratama, the subjunctive, or not the subjunctive, the subject case. Generally, linguistically, we call this nominative. Nominative in the sense that it names. The biggest point you need to remember is that the pratama vibhakti, the nominative, is the subject of the sentence, and in that sense, it must agree with the finite verb. Now, I said before that every sentence has to have a finite verb, even if the verb is just implied or understood. So when you're translating a sentence, and when we start translating, the first thing you'll hear me say is find the verb. You find the verb, and if the verb is in plural, then you start looking for a plural nominative, or in dual or singular. Then you look for that number. That will help you find not only the subject, but the first thing you're going to look for is a subject that matches either singular, dual, or plural. Now, when we look up words in a dictionary, you'll see, say the word Rāma, you're going to memorize it as either Ramaha or Ramas. But in like a big dictionary, like the Monier-Williams or any classic Sanskrit dictionary, it will just say Rama, and then afterwards it will just have an M to let you know that it's masculine. So if you remember the word Rama, and you can remember in your head that's masculine, fine, that's great, stick with it. But it helps me to remember Ramaha or Ramas, to memorize it that way, so I remember that it's masculine. So vanam, which we just learned, or vanam, as we see with the anuswara, depending on where it is in the sentence, that is good to remember because all you'll see in the Sanskrit dictionary is vana, just the stem. But if you remember vanam, you'll remember that it's neuter. Or kanya, which means maiden or princess, has that long A, and you know that long A, that it's going to be feminine. We'll get into this as we get into the feminine nouns in the next chapter. So like I said, dictionaries usually list the stem form without any of these declensions. This confused me so much when I first started studying Sanskrit without really a teacher, because I was like, I look up words, I got words on the page, and I don't know how to look them up in the dictionary, because you have to know enough grammar to separate out the grammar and the inflections and the changes to the word to figure out what the actual word is. It's not like in English, I can look up the word as in I am coming somewhere. It would be, I would look up coming would be, gachami. So it would be I am coming gachan. If I see gachan, I go to look up gachan in the dictionary. There's no gachan. I have to look and go, oh, that's gutch. That's the Sanskrit root gum. It's infuriating until you really understand, and then it becomes a little easier. All right, so when we go through these examples, I'm going to be asking for volunteers, and I want them to come really fast. So somebody read the first one, this first example.
Can I ask a quick question first about that word bhakti? Is that word is, I don't know if I was saying it right on the last side, the pratama bhakti, that means case?
Yes.
And is that the word that when the man is chanting that he's saying when he says pratama? Okay, because I hadn't seen it.
Exactly. No, you got it. Your ears are tuning, Tessa.
Okay.
All right. Tessa, read me this first example.
Nipo Vadati.
Yeah. Do you know what that means? You don't have to.
Well, we just did Vadati, so it's...
There you go.
Somebody who speaks? No.
Very good. Now, do you think there's any Sandhi happening here?
I think there is.
All right. What do you think Nripo actually is then, without the Sandhi?
An AH with the...
Yeah. Excellent. So Nripo means king. So what do you think this word means? What do you think the sentence means?
The king speaks.
Excellent. Now, you're going to start noticing that I have my own little way of coding things. And you're going to develop your own little way of coding things and making little notes to yourself. So here is one way you can code things. The king speaks. You just write that out. And then afterward, you go one. So that's pratama. And it's singular. There you go. You could also put an M behind it saying masculine. That becomes more important in later chapters. And then vadati, I know, is from the root vad. So I would write from there, from my little note, I'd say, okay, I got two words. First, singular masculine. That one's a verb, vadati. All right. Somebody read me the next one. Actually, I don't got time for this. Devin, read me the next one.
Brahma now.
Yeah.
Nripam. Pashyataha.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We already had this word nripa, right? What did that mean?
That was the king.
Excellent. Now this is pashyata. We haven't learned that verb yet. It shows you to see. Now, vadati, vadataha, vadanti. So if that's a verb to be seeing, and it's vadati, vadataha, vadanti, what do you think that's gonna be? What do you think that's gonna mean?
So it's dual.
Yes, yes, perfect. And then this is slightly misspelled, but Brahmanao, Rāma, Rāmao, Rāmaha. What do you think that's going to be? With that ow ending. You already told us that that verb is dual.
I don't know.
If the verb is dual, and this is Rāmaha, Rāmao, Rāmaha, that's dual too. So dual, two Brahmins see the king. So this is how I'll note this one. Brahmins. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna write Brahmins. I'm gonna note that it's dual. I could know that it's masculine. I know it's in first person. Then I go to see. Now, my way of getting around dealing with the verb there, see, is I just put the root there, and I put like the to see. So I know that. And then finally, at the end, I'll have the king, nripam. So I'll just write the king, and I'll write to singular. Those are just my little notes. And then I can put together the Brahmins see the king. All right, Atlas, you're up.
What's the two part? Sorry, after the king is singular.
Excellent. So,
Pashyat.
Here we go, Tessa. Pashyata is dual. Okay.
Right.
Now, we've got a dual verb, which means we need a dual subject.
Right.
Brahmanao is dual because Rāma, Rāmao, Rāmaha.
Right.
So those Ramas we were chanting right here, Brahmana becomes Brahmanao. So it's these, so that's dual and that's dual. The two duals do the thing. What do they see? They see the accusative, the king. Because Ramam, singular, this would be singular Ramam, Nripam.
And but your code for singular and then two.
Yeah, I write it twice. So I know here that that's dual. And then I know here that this is dual. So I'll write there that the two see. I know that it's two because of that taha ending. Again, you got to figure out your own code. Everybody does it differently. And you'll definitely get there. All right, Atticus, you're going to take a stick, Atticus. Atlas, take a stab at this one.
Tatra pustakani na santi.
Yeah. Do you know any of these words?
I think it means there are no books.
That's pretty darn good. Yes. So here,
oh sweet,
we have santi. Look to the verb first. Asti staha santi. That's our verb us. So I know that's plural. So there are, and knowing that that's plural. So if that's plural, I know there are something. And I know pustakani, pustakani, vanam, vane, vanani. All right, so that's a neuter, and it's either in the nominative or the singular, or it's either in the nominative or the accusative. So I wrote in my note there, I'm like, there are, all right, I got that. And then I have na, which just means no, Indo-European root. So no, and then I put ind there, which means indeclinable. We'll talk about that in a second. And then the word tatra at the end is another indeclinable. It doesn't have to agree with anything. It just exists in the sentence. So there are santi, no, and I know that santi is going to have to agree with pustakani there. Oh, actually, I'm completely wrong as I'm thinking about it. So pustakani is in the nominative.
yeah,
Plural, and then santi is in the Uttama Purusha plural. So there are no books there. So here, subject, verb, negative, and then a location.
so I think that your notation over on the right might be indicating accusative. Is that what you mean by two plural?
And I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's what I just said. I'm wrong on that
Go.
as I read it. Let's get it right. So this one
There you
plural,
go.
But what I would have actually done when I do this and I'm translating is like a 1.2, right? So that lets me know that it could be either nominative or singular in my notation.
Okay.
So that's just, we all get our little.
Is that also the form for sampodana in neuter?
You got it. Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Not that this is a case of that, but I just want to know that.
It is. They repeat. Now you're seeing the patterns. That's the most important thing, is that you see the patterns. All right, now we're back here. Okay, we got some more examples. This is the fun stuff. We're actually reading. All right, now we're going to move on to another case, the dvitiya case, the second case, dvitiya vibhaktihi, accusative. Now, the accusative is the object case. So the boy hits the ball. The ball will be in the accusative case. In English, we'll call this the direct object. There's a little bit of a difficulty here because Sanskrit, when it has a verb of motion, to go, such as gum is to go, and char is also to go or to course across something. The verbs that are of motion will take their direction in the accusative. Not unlike Rāma vanam gacchati. Vanam. So that's going to be the nominative or the accusative. Gacchati from gum, that's in the singular. Rāma is in the subject. Rāma gacchati. And where is he going to gacchati? Into the accusative. Vanam. Yes. Atlas.
So why is vanam not in a locative, basically?
I just told you it is because it doesn't do that. In verbs of motion, it takes accusative.
I'm trying to understand conceptually, though, because I don't.
It's just a rule, man. You can lose sleep on this. It's just that
I don't get an accusative application of an indirect thing.
In fact, there is a complicated grammatical argument that would call these specific accusatives an accusative with a locative flavor. However, there's no ambiguity.
Okay, I like it.
There's no ambiguity. You're going to love Spire when you come down to Spire. But in this one, you just have to remember verbs of motion taken their direction as an object. Rāma vanam.
So, okay.
But Rāma,
say down at the bottom of the screen, what do you mean by the boy sings, the boy speaks? You're not saying that the boy would be an accusative, correct?
We're getting to something else. You gotta let me get. Let me get to it. Okay. So when you have a transitive verb, this is again, we got to learn some English grammar here. A transitive verb is a verb that affects something other than the self. So a transitive verb would be like, the boy laughs, the boy sings, and don't get started with me on the boy laughs at a joke. Just let it go. The boy sings, the man runs. So when a verb is only affected by the person doing it, or only affects the person doing it, that's called intransitive. A transitive verb is when the verb does something to something else. I like to think of it as a transitive verb affects an object. It has an effect on something else. Intransitive verbs don't act upon anything but the subject themselves. So he destroys the army, transitive. He destroys the ball, transitive. He kicks the ball, transitive. Intransitive, to speak. I'm the one speaking. You could say I'm speaking a statement, but that's too much. I'm speaking. I'm going. I'm singing. I'm laughing. I'm sitting. So you could say I'm sitting on a chair. So the thing to remember here, though, is once again, verbs of motion take accusative in Sanskrit. That's just the way it is. All right. Let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to go with Sarah. First one.
Okay. Purusho.
Yep. Solid.
Mrigam.
Oh, excellent. Yes.
Hanti.
Okay. Do you have any guesses that you can make right off the bat? This is what we call pre-reading.
Well, it sounds like Vedanti. Hanti.
Yeah.
So that's third person plural.
Mm-hmm.
First person plural.
So what would it agree with? What does Purusho? Is that singular or plural? So it's Purushaha. It'd be like Ramaha.
Right. So that's plural.
Singular.
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 Okay.
What
Okay,
about
so
what about Mrigam? Mrigam means a deer or a beast.
Okay.
What tense do you think that's in? Or what case? Mrigam, like Ramam.
What case?
Yeah. What vibhakti?
I don't remember, but I'm guessing by process of elimination that it's a plural one.
I know this one's so mean on Goldman's part. Okay. Purusho is masculine for a man, singular nominative. Hanti, you got the pattern right, except it's from the root hun. And the hun does not take an when it is conjugated. So the hun, there's no way for you to know this. Goldman is showing it to you so you remember it later, because this will trip you up. 100% you look at that and you're like, that's plural. It's actually not. Goldman's being a dick here, but maybe you'll remember it. So that's actually, it's like hun, but it just has a T ending. So it's not unti, because then it would be what? Hananti. It's just a hun plus a T. No in between. We'll get to that later. So here, Purusha, hanti. So we know, first find the verb. Hanti. That means singular uttama form. The hanti form. I can never remember the grammar. Anyway, this is the he, she, it form. There's our he, she, it, Purusha. Mriga is in the accusative, so the deer. Hun means slay. Sarah, translate this for me.
Yeah, the
Got
man.
all the information over here. Yeah.
The man kills the deer.
Yeah, exactly. The man kills the deer. So you'll notice my notation. First, so that's blah. So that singular nominative, singular accusative. And then I could just write kills from hun, but I kind of like to note and just put my own tentative subject right there. So that helps me think about it more clearly. So from the man deer he kills, I see, okay, first I'm going to go nominative, the man. Then I'm going to go verb because it's subject, object, verb. Then I'm going to go the object, deer. Right on. Okay, you got that one. That's the one you're going to memorize. Okay, Saskia. Where are you? Oh, not on my list. Who's Grift? Uh-oh.
That's me. Sorry, it's Tanya.
All right, Tanya. Give me a shot on this bad boy. We've actually seen all of these words already.
Okay. So that's
Don't get flummoxed. That's Brahmana.
okay. Brahman.
Brahman.
Pusatakani.
Yes.
Sayanata.
Pasyanti. Yeah, you got it. All right, so you got any guesses? This one is not being mean like Hunty. This one is regular.
So T like Vedati.
Vedanti.
Vedanti.
Vedanti. What is Vedanti?
It's third person.
Plural, singular, dual.
It's like
It's
they, right?
100% plural. You got that.
Okay.
So
I'm
this
like,
was the same root we saw before. Push, to see, to see. All right, so you've got they see. We're on our way. What about these other words?
Brahmin sees, I don't know what the middle word is,
We'll
though.
get there. Let's slow down. Brahmanaha. Is that plural?
Yes.
Like Ramaha, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the plural that you remember?
Is it feminine plural?
It's masculine plural. We haven't learned feminine plural yet.
Okay.
So what are you going to remember? You're going to remember Ramaha. So I'm going to say, that's Brahmanaha. What does that sound like to you? Rama.
Rama.
Ramaha. Go on. I'm going to be plural. Okay, so we go Ramaha, Ramau, Ramaha. Aha. Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmanao, Brahmanaha. All right, so that's our plural Brahmanas. So we got these plural Brahmanas hanging out. And we have a plural verb. Plural verb, what do you think pustakani is? We had it before, it means book. And it's in the neuter. Vanam, vane, vanani.
Let's see here.
You got it.
They see books. I don't.
You got it. That's exactly what it is. The Brahmins, see, nominative plural from aha. They see from push, and then pustakani. So this is plural, neuter, accusative. We're working on the accusative. So we have purusha, hanti, mrigam. The man kills the deer. Brahmanaha, the plural Brahmins, pashanti, they see, and what do they see? Pustakani, the plural accusative books. But when you approach this, the first thing I want you to do is look for the verb, pashanti. You know, that's plural. And you're like, uh-oh, pustakani, that's plural too. Uh-oh, brahmanaha, that's plural too. Is it going, and then you have to do some context, because this could be nominative or accusative. Brahmanaha, we're going to say is the subject, because having books see something doesn't make any sense. So the Brahmins see, and then I've got this word over here, and I really want it to be the accusative. Luckily, vanam, vane, vanani, vanam, vane, vanani. So it could be the plural singular, or it could be the plural nominative, the plural accusative, or the vocative. But nobody's going to say, hey there, books. The Brahmins see things. That just doesn't make any sense. So this is why I'm saying if you find the verb, it will tell you what other sentences are doing. All right. Tessa, yes.
I'm sorry if this is a dumb question, but just to be sure, so Pustakanam would be one book, right?
Pustakanam.
Singular, a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pustakani are books.
Plural books, yes.
And so then the what do we have? Pustakane are two books.
Okay, hold on. Vanam, vane, vanani. Pustakam, one book. Pustake, two books. Pustakane, three or more books.
Thank you.
You got it. All right, who's my next victim?
Still getting used to that dual and plural.
That just takes a little while to kind of get used to. You'll get there, though. I'm not able. All right, Tessa, you're up. You're going to do this one. You're up again. Read this bad boy. Read this. Read number 3.
Ramo, vanam, gachati.
Explain the grammar to me.
Okay, so gachati. Gachati, so that's first person singular.
Yeah, you got it.
And then Ramo is masculine.
Because it's Ramaha or Ramas.
Right. We drop it changes because it's Sunday, right? Sunday. Oh no, I said it wrong. No.
You're all good. Now tell me about that last word.
Is this Rame? No, I'm right.
No, that's Ramo. You have everything right.
Vanam. So that is the direct object or the
Yes. So that's going to be your accusative. Okay. So there, the most beautiful sentence in the world, Rāma, first person singular, forest, vanam. Here, it could be in the first or the second singular, but all neuter. And then gachati, goes. He goes. And you did that just right, Tessa, by looking for the verb first. That will save you pain. So much pain in the future. I feel like it was like my third year I really figured that one out. All right, we're going to do a little bit more, and then we're going to get close to calling it a day. Y'all have put in some serious work here. All right, I've already put my notes up. Where's my gallery view? All right. I can't get a good list of the students here. All right, first person volunteer. Give me somebody to volunteer.
Okay, I'll go.
Get in there.
Okay, this first line here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already given you the notes, so figure it out.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ramaha samva saram.
Perfect.
Vane vasati. But vasati. Okay. So vasati is the verb, which I see there.
Vasati.
Vasati. So singular.
Just like vadati.
Singular third person / first person.
Yeah, right.
Rāma. Okay, so Rāma is also Ramaha is the
you found the subject. Yes.
Vanam is the forest, is the place, and then
but it's not vanam.
Vane.
We haven't learned it yet. That's the locative.
The locative. Okay. Year. Oh, okay. So Rāma lives in the forest. Would you say for 2 years? Like, would you add that?
Yeah, that's just it's 1 year. The 2 is because it's accusative. So here again, this is not a verb of motion. However, and this is Atticus's Atlas. Atlas's head is about to explode because I'm gonna have to give him Spire so he doesn't kill me. When someone lives in a place, they will live in a place for a time. Because in fact, in all of these declensions, there is nothing that's about duration. So he'll live for an accusative, and he lives for that accusative term a year, samvatsaram, in the forest. So first thing we do is we see the verb. Vasati. All right, that means I know I got a singular nominative. Rāma. Rāma vasatis. Now, Rāma vasati vane. All right, he lives in the forest. Good. What's this samvatsaram? Well, it's in the accusative, and accusative sometimes can deal with duration. Sorry. Just as clear as it gets, it also becomes opaque. These all become comfortable in time. Okay. Now, I'm going to go through these two because I want to explain some stuff to you. These are what are called avyaya padas. Now, the accusative can sometimes be frozen and used as an indeclinable. That means that it is in the form of an accusative, but it doesn't agree with anything. It exists on its own in a sentence and does something on its own. You kind of learn these as you go. They're sort of like adverbs. So here, asti nripaho dasharato nama. Nama is actually the word naman, and in naman, it is in the accusative or in the nominative. Asti, he is. All right, that means I need a subject in the nominative that is singular. Nripo, king, awesome. There is a king, or nripo, a king, asti is, and then Dasarata, that's a name, the man with the 10 chariots, Rāma's father. Here, the nama is an accusative that's just hanging out, but it's doing its thing to modify the verb of asti. So there is a king, and nama, you can remember it this way, by name of Dasarata. These you just have to learn. You see them in context, you get to know them. Some of them are easier to understand than others. So we have Dasharata, singular. Jivati, okay, that's singular. Jivati is from Jiv. Oh, I wrote G, that's the wrong one. It's Jivati is Jiv from the word Jiv, which means to live. So Dasharata lives. Jivati. Here we have an accusative that's frozen as well. Anytime you see the word sukham, which is the opposite of the Buddhist word dukham. Dukkha means suffering or unsatisfactoriness. Sukham means sweet. You may remember I told you that the one single sutra in the Yoga Sutras about asana, the only one, says the asana should be made dridam, firm, and sukham, comfortable, sweetly. So here, the one thing we know is the word lives is going to be intransitive. It does not take an object, but it will take a nuance adjective or adverb here. So Dasharata lives sweetly. Now, Avyāyapadas are irritating. However, they really do lend a lot to the language. You'll find that a lot of them are frozen. We call them frozen because they don't get inflected. They just get thrown into sentences, sort of willy-nilly, but doing some serious nuance. They're often in the accusative or the ablative, some frozen datives. But often, if you see one of these indeclinables of Avyāyapadas, it will be in the accusative or the ablative, and they will become adverbs. What's an adverb? A verb. An adverb is a term or a word that modifies and describes a noun or a verb. An adverb describes a verb. An adjective is a word that describes a noun. So we're going to stop right here. And I want to kind of, hold on, let me get to the end here. We'll go through the rest of these at the beginning of class. All right. So what I want you to be doing is continuing to study chapter 4. I want you to continue chanting the verbs like you've been doing, but maybe for a little less time because you should have it down by now. And I want you to start practicing chanting Rāma or vanam like we did today, or you can use Goldman's Pustakam if you really want. And you need to prepare for the quiz. The next quiz is exactly the same as the quiz we had today, except you are going to be chanting and writing out Rāma from the first nominative all the way to the locative. So this is the first nominal paradigm you're going to master. Everything is going to build off that. The reason why I've stressed so hard you learning those conjugations of vad and bash is all our verbs are going to build off that. All of our nouns are going to build off Rāma, which is in the masculine, vanam, which is in the neuter, and finally kanya, which is our feminine paradigm. Once you get these three in your head, all the others develop out of them. but these are the three you have to know the coldest. These just have to be in your head solid. Because you noticed when I was having you translate, I was constantly saying, well, what's this? What is this in Rāma? What is this in vanam? So you'll constantly be using these paradigms. And in time, the rules are inherently like whatnot. Like I look and I see any word with an AYA and I'm like, that's dative. But you have to get these in your head first in order to get to that point. All right, that's going to be class for today. For those of you that read, you should be very proud of yourselves. You're reading Sanskrit. Sanskrit was read. You did the job. The students, Shishyaha, Sanskrita Bhasham, Shabdham, Patanti. The students, Shishyaha, Sanskrita Bhasham, accusative, Sanskrita Bhasham, Sanskrit language, let's go, Shabdan, plural, accusative, for words, Shabdan, Patati, or Patanti, they read. You're reading Sanskrit now. This is what we're going to do from now on. We're going to memorize stuff, and we're going to read Sanskrit. And it's just going to get better from here. We're finally through the hard stuff. It's all easy here after Sunday. But I think it's more fun when we're actually reading. And I wish I could have figured out a way to fire us through Sunday faster and script faster. And I think I would have done that if I had just followed a more simple method, which I didn't do. Experiment failed. But here we are. We're reading Sanskrit. It's very exciting. Okay, everybody, have a good one.
We're memorizing both the neuter and the masculine for next week's quiz.
Yes, but I'm not going to test you on the neuter. I just think that's just because for time. And I want to get through as much as we can on Tuesday.
Okay.
So on Tuesday, you'll have a quiz on Rāma. It'll be the exact same thing. I want you to record a version of it, of you chanting it for a minute, and then you're just going to write it out. And then after that, we're going to go through the last of these examples. We're going to talk a little bit about pronouns. And then for the rest of the class, we're going to actually be writing Sanskrit out loud. We'll be speaking Sanskrit, in fact. And to prepare for the coming Thursday, you should start becoming familiar with the reading and be ready to meet with your whole group and read together and work on the translation, because a week from next Tuesday, we're going to read in class. So it's all happening now. Things are very exciting.
Very exciting. Is there a way for us to figure out how to get together in the Zoom room without you? I'm
going to leave that up to y'all. Okay. I know I'll probably be still asleep from being sedated.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if we have everybody's contact information to be able to work that out.
I'll tell you what.
Maybe by, I don't know. I'll check.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Just contact one another, whatever, and find somebody that just wants to host the Zoom room, and then put a link up and share it all around.
Okay.
And if somebody wants to host the Zoom room and they want to send me the link, I'll put it up on Canvas.
Okay. I'm not good with technology, but I think Lindsay, she's set up our study group before, so I'll ask her if she could do that.
Yeah, it's the same thing as setting up that study group.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. Go with God. Do good. Fight evil.
Thank you.
Oh, anybody that wants to come to the event on Monday, be sure to RSVP. I forgot to say that. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
I know Atlas is coming. See y'all later.